It's time to talk sports, it's time for the show. When you hear this song on the radio, it's time to tune in, better act fast. Let me get that autograph. Potograph, Sports Talk Radio. Starting now.
Let's go. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 167 of Let Me Get That Potograph. As always, my name is Drew, or the DH, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport. What's up, brother?
Drew.
Not too much, man. Not too much. Had a fun Halloween. It was fun. Had to dress up as Panthers coach. You know, did the Halloween thing. So I walked around as Depression for Halloween.
Okay. I mean, you saw the stash of candy that I.
Oh my God!
That was
you
just
got
one
more
kid.
than my kid did.
That was just one kid.
Jeez.
The other. I mean, it was almost double that. You know, from what I posted. But there was some weird shit. And I posted this on Facebook. Kit Kat has a blueberry muffin flavor.
Yes. Yeah, what in the world?
Who the hell thought that would be a good idea?
I know.
I mean, dude, we can do an entire show on candy.
No, I know. And for background, guys, we're not staying here on this long, but Scott sends me this massive picture, and it's just a hoard of candy. And when I say a hoard, I mean it's ridiculous. It's
the
like
entire kitchen table was completely covered in candy, and it was sorted too. That's the best part.
Yes.
And everybody's giving me crap. Like, you had your kids sort their candy, and like, no, they do that on their own. They want to sort their candy.
That Jude does the same thing.
And I take and I'll tell you, I do take a percentage of it as the dad tax.
Oh, so do I.
You know, my kids want to continue living in my house for the next year. They pay the dad tax.
Exactly.
And that, that comes
you
in the
want
form
that
of
Lego set? You want that little gun, whatever the heck it is that I'm buying you every time I'm out? No, you got the dad tax.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Hope everybody had a safe Halloween, and we're headed down into the final stretch of the year. A lot of awesome hobby stuff going on, but something big dropping, Scott, that I figure we'll kick off the show with today because it's pretty massive. And that is that the Luka National Treasures 2018 Logoman 1/1, the one of the most iconic cards of the modern era, and we'll discuss that here in just a moment as well, is hitting the auction block already.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. It's a BGS 9 with a 10 auto. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this one because there's a lot of factors, kind of going on that are outside the hobby. I mean, obviously Luka is, he started the year pretty well. Typical Luka fashion.
Oh, he's starting off amazing.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple things. Now, this isn't the one that supposedly sold in a private sale for like $4 million or something like that. That was the flawless, wasn't it?
No, actually, this was the exact same card that sold for $4.6 million, and it sold raw. Nick Fiorello is the one who purchased the card. He purchased it. It was reported by Darren Ravel in February of 2021, February 28th, that he had purchased it raw for $4.6 million. So this is the exact same card that sold for $4.6 million.
Wow. All right. So I think I know why he's putting it up for sale now.
Okay, because
especially with the end of the year now. And let me get into that though.
Yeah.
So, because it's an interesting time to put a big card like that up for sale.
Very.
It's no secret the economy is down.
Mm-hmm.
It's no secret that the hobby in general is in the middle of a slight dip, which is understandable, and it'll come back. I'm not worried about it long term because of this. No. It's not crashing. It's a dip. But I don't think it's going to come close to the $4.6 million that was paid for. And if you notice, this is a November auction.
Yeah.
Really close to the end of the year.
Yeah.
And this, I'm willing to bet he's putting it up for sale now, knowing that he's going to take a loss on it. And the timing is absolutely perfect because, calendar year is coming to an end.
Exactly.
I'm willing to bet that he needs a tax write-off.
Well, I'll tell you something else interesting is he has also put a lot of his other high-end stuff up. The Brady championship ticket that sold recently, that
Yeah.
was his. He's put a lot of massive cards up right here at the end of the year. So it's been interesting. And the timing of this screams that right there to me because you're looking at the holiday season. I think this is going to go way low. I think this hits probably 2.5. And I think that, I mean, you're looking at the end of the year, Christmas, everything like that. You throw all that out the window because it's not that big of a deal for someone buying this card. But it is the end of the year. It's the beginning of the basketball season. It's not the hype. It's not the hot part of the market yet. Yes, he's starting off strong, but it's not when you would sell a card like this. The November and December are not the strongest months for auctions. They never have been, not high end, low end, whatever. And so to put it on right here, along with all the other cards he's been putting up at very odd times, Brady's struggling like crazy, throwing up a massive card, a lot of stuff like this. It's little odd.
Well, there is another explanation to it as well. It's also possible that he's got a huge purchase he wants to make that he feels might be better than the cards he's selling. And he's not as liquid as he, could be.
Right.
And in order to, make whatever purchase it is, he's throwing stuff up for auction.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting one to throw up at this time. But you're right. I mean, that I don't think there's a chance in hell that this sells for 4.6 or over. I just can't see it. Unless, now I will say some of the Luka's prisms and his mosaics and even his selects, his gold select just set a record for that card. His gold mosaic, all of those have been setting record sales. So his market is very strong right now, while a lot of the market is quote unquote correcting itself or whatever you want to call it. His market is incredibly strong right now. So maybe it is a good move on him. Maybe he knows there's a buyer out there that wants it or a couple that are going to fight for it like crazy. Who knows?
Well, if that was it, I mean, if he knows that there's a couple of guys that are out there,
just do it private.
Just broker, have somebody broker a private sale or a private auction and, not make it public unless, unless somebody convinced him that, hey, we need the publicity on this. We'll waive all the, we'll give you 100% of the.
He's getting paid to put this card up on auction 100%. I guarantee you. This is a massive card. And that's one thing I want to ask you. I mentioned it earlier. This is, at least in my opinion, this is one of, if you're talking about the new generation of basketball, let's say the last 4 years, Luka year into, or maybe the year before Luka to now, this era, the new era of basketball. I think this is probably going to go down as one of, if not the most iconic card of that era.
I would agree with you because even if you go back the year before Luka, I mean, you got Tatum and you got Donovan Mitchell, but the rest of the rookies really didn't pan out. Panini didn't do a logo man of LeBron or anything like that, and it wouldn't be autographed even if they did. I think this is, and obviously Luka is probably the best rookie that we've seen. But I'm just trying to think. I mean, Luka is, I think the best rookie that we have seen since Giannis. I mean, arguably Embiid. Technically, I think he came up. I think he was drafted the same year as Giannis, but he didn't play for 2 years before. So that's a little bit, that may be. But I still think Giannis is is a better player than Embiid. So you're talking about the best rookie suit that we've seen since the 13-14 rookie class.
Yeah.
And look, let's be honest. Giannis wasn't even that great his rookie year.
No, it took him a while.
So Luka came out of the gate exactly where, he should have.
With exorbitant pressure on him. Exorbitant that Giannis did not have. They both came from overseas. Giannis came overseas as an unknown who had no pressure, thrown into Milwaukee, the middle of nowhere. Luka's thrown into the most outgoing owner in the league that's going to make sure his superstar or any superstar that he loves is known everywhere in Mark Cuban. And the hype on him was starting 2 years before it was drafted. So Luka to be able to perform with that type of pressure, just in my opinion, puts him over Giannis.
Oh no, I agree, and I don't think we've seen a rookie since Luka that has outdone him. You know, the only one the one that I can think of that comes close is Morant, but he's still not as good as he is. You know, I still don't think he's up to that.
Well, that's who I was gonna say. Actually, it's like you're reading my mind. If there's gonna be one card that I think could surpass the Luka eventually, I think it may be the Morant. And if it is, I don't think Morant's ever gonna be an overall better player than Luka. I just don't think, because Luka can just do so much, and Ja is limited in certain areas by whether it be size, position, everything. But I do see Memphis as a team having a lot more success than Dallas as a team over the next 5 to 7 years. So if Ja is leading his team to the Eastern Conference Finals while Luka's ousted in, the first or second round every year, I can see Ja's cards maybe overtaking as Ja becomes one of those type of guys. But to me, there's only one card that could possibly overtake it. And then maybe Zion. Zion possibly could too. They're building something in Memphis as well, or in New Orleans as well. So it possibly Zion. But right now, you've got to say this is the biggest modern card in history.
And I think, I mean, honestly, a dream Western Conference Finals would be Memphis versus Dallas.
100.
That would be insane. But so back to Lucas. So I'm not entirely sure, how this is going to end up, but I don't see it clearing the 4.6 mark at all. I think you're spot on, somewhere in the 2 to 2.5 range.
Yeah,
it's clearly a card that anybody would want to own, and frankly, if I had $2 million to spend on it, I would buy that card.
That's the type of card I'd go after. Yes,
because this could be, this could easily be a $6-7 million card in a decade.
This could be way more than that in a decade, easily.
Maybe not, but I still think it has, somebody who buys it, stashes it away for 5 or 6 years, and then puts it up for sale again. As long as Luka continues to play how he's been playing.
Well, yes.
I see this being the record holder for the most expensive basketball card being sold, unless by some small miracle there's an 86 Fleer Jordan that somehow manages to get a BGS black label.
Yeah,
that would be the exception. I think that would clearly be a card that could top this solely based on the grade. And I hate to say that a grade matters, but in that particular instance, I think it would.
Yeah, and there might be a couple other exquisite dual logo men and stuff like that could possibly outdo it in the end, depending when these things start to become more vintage, or those do, while Lucas is still he's still playing and everything. And a lot of factors in play, but very interesting time to put it on the market. I think you nailed it at the beginning on exactly why it's on the market right now. But I also do think there's knowing the individual, not personally, but knowing the individual and knowing his hobby habits, because someone was like, he's getting out of the hobby, he's running away. No. This dude is revving up for either a massive purchase, or there's something he wants to do, and so he's putting some cards up at the opportune time for people that know finance to do that.
Yeah,
and so I see pretty clearly exactly what he's doing here, but. The Luka National Treasures 1 of 1. It is a horizontal logo, man, which is the true RPA that year. That year it was the horizontal, so it is the true RPA. This is the big boy. This is the big one, but we'll see what it. We'll revisit this in a couple weeks. Check out how it ends, and we'll discuss because that price is going to affect a lot of other people's cards more than just Luka. It's going to affect a lot of players' cards and a lot of big sales coming up in the future. So I'm interested to see where this ends at. But we'll update you guys with that as soon as the auction ends. But speaking of Panini and National Treasures, Panini's got plenty of other products, that are going on. A lot of stuff in National Treasures that drives people crazy, and they've done a good job lately of not having in the product is redemptions. It is a problem in the hobby, always has been frustrating for a lot of people. I feel so sorry for the people that that are new to the hobby that rip open a box and then get a redemption and just run home and enter it right in without any idea of what it is. I truly feel bad for you guys, but once again, do your research.
And I don't feel bad with certain players, because there's definitely players that we know are going to sign. They do so in a timely manner, and it comes back. And it's not a Panini one, but Wander Franco in baseball has actually been really good about signing this stuff and getting it back to Topps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's Kevin Durant with Panini, he's a Panini exclusive. It's coming back quick. There's a lot of them, but
Kobe used to sign on a regular basis for Panini because he's exclusive.
He was their first exclusive.
Yes. So there's there are definitely guys that return quickly.
Oh, there's great signers. Kyle Pitts being one of them. He returned all his rookie stuff quick. Sometimes it's just they aren't there right at that exact moment. But it did lead to, I mean, we've had redemptions now way before, since autographs really started appearing in products in mass quantity, well before the big boom and everything. I mean, redemptions have been going back for ages. It took Julio Jones 9 years to sign his cards, but he finally signed them. Some people held out for 9 years for Julio cards. But Panini made recently an announcement that they were changing their redemption policy. They were not going to honor the expired redemptions anymore. They were giving you a new option now, because you always have an option after a certain amount of time if you would like to get a replacement card or keep waiting. And if you don't answer, you just keep waiting. But you have the option to answer after a certain amount of time. Now, they took this away, and now you used to be able to ask for cards. You could say, look, they would ask you what team, what player, who did you want, and give us a list of names, and we'll replace it with that. And they did a great job with it. If it was a big card, you'd be getting white boxes and stuff like that. I mean, lots of really great stuff. There were tons of times where redemptions were coming back with massive upgrades for people all the time, and white boxes for cards that had no business getting white boxes. And they were doing so well with it. And then they changed this policy. And in the weeks that have followed, two things have started to occur, Scott, and I want your opinion on both of these. First is that a ton of redemptions, not from a single year, but 7, 8 years old, all the way up until now, are starting to flood in from random players, most that didn't make the league, some that did, no superstars, just random, just people. All of a sudden, all of these redemptions are flooding in at the same time. And we're seeing people that have asked for replacements getting cards that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, getting 750 Panini points, 1,000 Panini points. They're getting absolutely hosed by Panini right now. Panini points are not worth what they were since they got away from moving the white sparkles and stuff away. Panini is hosing anyone with a redemption right now, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. So we're talking about two different pieces to this puzzle here. Now, so I'll touch on the first one first as far as the guys now, and I'm still pissed about my SGA Obsidian not getting replaced, even though they use stickers on more current product. For him. But anyway, I think there's a couple of different pieces in the, for the guys that are, coming back 7-8 years later and returning. I think for the guys that are not in the league anymore, it's very possible that they, have way too much time on their hands now. And as they're moving out of their mansions into the trailer parks because they can't afford it anymore, they find this box that got put away and, it's like, oh shit, I never signed these and sent them back. So they're signing them and sending them back. Now, for the other guys, I think that Brian Gray's lawsuit that he filed against, was it CeeDee Lamb?
Yes.
Over the summer. And it got tossed because CD finally, returned the autographs that, were supposed to be given.
Yeah, he fulfilled his side of the agreement.
Now, I think that there were some players that haven't signed for years and years that saw that and said, oh shit, they're going to come after me.
No, that's a good one.
They don't want that to happen. So they're digging out, the boxes or pallet of cards that they had to sign. And this, said, all right, well, I got some time. Let's just do it now.
Yeah.
And that way I don't have to ever worry about a lawsuit, because whether they win or not, a lot of them don't need the money that, Panini was paying them, but it's still not a good look when you've got somebody going after you for breach of contract.
Do you think they were sitting on any of these for quite some time? Like a lot of these lower end guys that just weren't in any hurry or quote unquote rush to be fulfilled to jump on the secondary market? Because that's the one that I kind of have. It's odd to me because so many different players I've seen come back that are just so random. There's no rhyme or reason on why all of these would be returned at once, unless they're just maybe they sent out something to the players saying, look, you've got this amount of time, do it. Or, maybe they threaten lawsuits. Who knows?
No, and it's possible. They probably saw what Brian did with CD and said, hey, we can do this too.
Right. Because they have cut down their redemptions. There's very few now.
So there's a couple things. It is possible that, a couple of these guys, they, have been, I don't want to say intentionally sitting on, but maybe, the boxes got misplaced somewhere along the line, and they just got found, or whatever. And
let's be honest, they don't have a team of 50, so I mean, stuff can pile up, and so I wasn't in no way was I saying malicious. Like,
no, I would agree with that, but it's they don't have a lot of people, and I think that's part of the reason they stopped taking the expired redemptions, is because they don't have the staff to deal with it right now, or for the last year or two haven't had the staff to deal with it. They're giving out points instead of replacement cards because they don't have the staff to deal with it. It's easier for them to just give points. Now they should be giving a lot more points for the expensive cards. I know somebody who got, I think it was like 750 points or something ridiculous like that for a card that would have sold for like $1,500.
Yes.
If you take $1,500, the typical, before they stopped doing the white sparkle packs, the typical, Panini point would be 4 to 6 cents per point.
I normally pay 3-4 cents depending on the time.
Yeah, exactly. If you're buying them, when there's no white sparkle packs, you pay lower. Right. When they are become available, you pay higher. But even if you take that, the $1,500, times let's call it 4 cents,
it buys you a Darius Slay at a 53rd year card on their website. Like, I mean, they're getting better with rewards on the website. But But $1,500 at 4 cents a point is 37,500 points. That doesn't buy you a Luka auto on the website, because those are going for 50. And the Luka autos that are up there are not $1,500 cards. No.
So you've got that like a $1,500 card should be getting at a minimum 30,000 points. Yeah, if not more. But they're not doing it.
No, I know. And this, the one reason I wanted to bring this up is because I want to kind of issue a let me get that autograph warning for the hobby right now, especially with Panini and everything. With everything up in the air with Panini, there's been some very interesting stuff going on in terms of website domains and redirects and things like that are pointing towards fanatics, meaning some stuff could be moving closer. Things could change, but pay attention. And if you're buying a product, no matter what the product is, if it's old, you've got to look at who the redemptions are now. Yep. You've got to look at what's unfulfilled, because they're not going to do a damn thing about it anymore. And if you are going to redeem that card, you've got to decide, I'm going to hold out for that card. Otherwise, you're getting hosed. You've got to admit that, hey, I'm taking a shot in the dark, but I'm going to try. And then maybe if nothing works out, I'll just end up taking a couple $100 and getting screwed. But this could have a major effect on the value people put on redemptions. Because before, people would buy redemptions like crazy because they knew they could go to the National and not even worry about redeeming it and just get a bunch of white box 101s and flip them for thousands at the show. So you'd see people buying redemptions for big money, and people are like, there's no way that should go for this. Well, that's why it was going for that. But nowadays you've got to look at redemptions a completely different way.
No, and I think, and especially now that they're not honoring any of the expired ones,
right?
Most of the 1920 basketball redemptions, those are all expired, and I think the remainder of them expire at the end of the year or by the end of the year. 2019 or 2020 football, those are expired or are going to be expired before the end of the year. And there's a lot of good players that were redemption autos in a lot of these products. So what's that going to, now that those are expired, now that they're not accepting the expired ones,
and now that people know that if they pull them, if they don't sign them, they're getting jack shit for them.
Exactly. So what's that going to do to the cost of all the unopened product that people have been sitting on for years and years and years, just waiting, especially, a lot of products out there that had Kobe redemptions.
Oh, big time.
Even after he died, they were still giving some good stuff for those
great stuff. The Mamba packs were brilliant.
Oh, yeah. But they obviously are not doing that anymore because those are all expired.
Yep.
So we're now in a situation where it might actually be beneficial to pick up older wax if you can get it at a cheap price.
Yeah.
Because you may still hit some good, like with prisms.
Yeah, if it's an older product, if it's an older product, one that we're talking about right here that has big redemptions in it, and you can get it for a good price, and it also has other cards outside of the redemption that are quite valuable. Hell yeah, jump all over them.
Yeah,
and I think you are going to see the price of a lot of that wax go down because of the redemption issue, unless, and this is the only way that I could see this happening, unless, let's say that Fanatics takes over and starts running Panini America or does something along those lines with Panini, unless they say that we will make sure that those redemptions are fulfilled, unless something comes out from them saying that they will get it taken care of. You've got to be very careful, and you've got to study this stuff with what you buy. But I think you also in there also do, like you said, anytime there's a big problem in the hobby or an issue or something, there's also a spot and a good time to buy something. Yeah. And in this case, it could be the wax that was unattainable a year ago.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I think it's an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting thing to follow. And I'm fortunate that, the only redemption that I really care about is the one, the SGA one. And I'm just going to keep waiting. Eventually I'll either get the card or we'll talk to him at the National next year and see what, what we can do.
Yeah, there you go. I think you'll have no problem with Shy, but absolutely. It'll be interesting to see as it's definitely going to affect the value of a lot of different stuff. But Panini, you gotta up those points, or you gotta start putting more stuff in points. If you're going to give people points for all the redemptions, you got to stop selling the sparkles. You got to put them back on points. You got to up the point game if you're going to give people points for stuff that they should have gotten in the product. That, I mean, Obsidian changing for playoff is absurd, and I mean, that's basically what you're doing if you choose a replacement card on the site right now. So do better, but it's been a rough one right now for a lot of people who had redemptions out. So, I feel for you. I'm glad that most of my redemptions I have faith in, but we'll see what happens. But guys, we will be right back here in just a few moments because, we got bills to pay. And welcome back, everybody, to episode 167 of Let Me Get That Potograph. And it is now time for the segment that is still taking this damn nation by storm. You know what it is. It's time for Movers and Shakers. So, Scott, I'm going to let you kick it off this week because I've kicked off the last couple. So, who you got for your Mover and Shaker this week in the hobby?
Yo, Drew, I tell you, man, I got my boy Bobby down in 59th and Halstead, down in the southeast corner. Last week he went through and he sold all 6 bags of rock, and he managed to get away from the cops without dumping any product or having to get rid of any of his bankroll in his pocket, man. So my man Bobby down there, that's my mover and shaker for the week.
No, but in all seriousness, I'm actually
my
gonna go.
God. Hey, I give you props for how long you held that together.
I could have kept going had I.
I know, and that's the sad thing. I know.
So I am actually rolling with kind of an obvious one. I'm going to roll with some soccer for the next couple of weeks, just, in the lead up to the World Cup. Well, this guy's not playing in the World Cup this year.
Yep.
Because Norway didn't fucking qualify.
Yeah.
But I'm rolling with Erling Haaland.
Nice.
And the reason I'm rolling with him, dude's got 17 goals through a very short season so far for Man City. He's played, they've had 12 games.
Yeah.
So he's averaging over or right about a goal and a half per game, which is absolutely insane. And it is very possible with that basically month off where he's going to be rested.
Yeah.
A lot of these other guys are going to be coming back after the World Cup and, having played a whole bunch of games, and especially the guys that go deep and that were, superstars. We're expecting France to go really deep, which means that Mbappe is going to be tired.
Right.
Argentina and Brazil, they're probably going to go deep, which means, Messi and Neymar, they're going to be tired. So
they're going to get beat up. Yeah, it's the World Cup.
They're going to be tired. They're going to get beat up and, possibly injured. You never know. If there's something outside of the club season that's worth, going all out for and risk an injury in order to win, it's the World Cup. So Haaland's not playing, and I'm expecting him to come back after the break and just completely tear it up. Yeah. And that's not to say that the first half he hasn't done that, because he did, but it's going to be I think he's going to be in a completely different league. I don't see any reason why he doesn't score 40 goals in the Premier League. And I'm not even counting the Champions League stuff.
Right.
So he is absolutely going to win the Ballon d'Or this year.
Yes.
Put your money on it.
Yeah.
There's no question. But I think, we may even see a slight dip in his stuff during the World Cup because he's not playing. If that happens, buy.
Yes.
Buy.
I think if they stay where they are and you don't see him keep rising, I think they're a buy, because, like you said, he's winning the Ballon d'Or this year. They might as well just give it to him. Hold off for a little bit. It's fine, because I'll make some more money. But I see nothing but him going up. Erling Haaland there's so many young stars in soccer. Some of these guys are going to end up being great players, but not, those superstars type of people. Erling Haaland is a freaking superstar.
Yeah.
In the next 5 to 7 years, the 99% of the world is going to know who this man is, and he is going to be breaking records left and right. I think he's a buy, even if they stay the same during the World Cup. But I do think that they drop. I think they absolutely drop for one reason, and it always
visibility.
Happens. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be focusing, especially if USA goes deep or a big country goes deep. You're going to have so much focus on all these other players, the youth, the young guys, the new guys that emerge, the Cinderella stories. All of the attention is going to be on them. It's not going to be on him. There's a lot of stuff out there. I love that buy. You knew I would love that buy.
Oh yeah.
But Erling Haaland, yeah, man, I love it.
Much better pick than Fat Bobby down at 59th at Halstead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree with you there. All right. So my mover and shaker this week, he moved this week, so he's we might as well take him since he's a mover. But that is Chase Claypool.
Oh, interesting.
Claypool. Yes.
See, I thought you would have gone with McCaffrey this week.
No.
Only because last week we talked about, there's no way he's going to get traded. And
an hour after we recorded that show, he got traded. And my son cried for 2 days. Who would have thought that someone in the family he was close with died? It broke his heart. But
but I thought, the real reason I thought you were going to go with him is because he ran for one, he caught one, and
yes,
threw for one.
Beautiful pass, by the way. A couple quarterbacks could take note. But no, not rolling with CMC this week. Although I will say I love him in San Francisco, and I think, I mean, him with Debo, if they run an old school West Coast style offense, you can't stop that offense at all.
No.
Yeah,
No.
it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Trey Lance, it could be you or me. You can run that old school West Coast offense with those two guys with Ayuk over the top, and it's an offense that'll never be stopped. But no, I'm not going to go with CMC this week. I'm going with Chase Claypool because the Bears finally have a receiver now. I actually like Justin Fields. I don't think he's going to be a massive superstar, but I think he's a very good quarterback.
I don't disagree, but I'm going to say to you the same thing I've been saying for decades. The Bears' problem, and this is coming as a Bears fan, the Bears' problem has not been the quarterback.
Right. No, yeah.
The Bears' problem is the offensive line.
Right, yes.
Now, great, I'm happy to have Claypool. I'm excited that Fields is, going to have another big target to throw to. But I don't think it fixes the problem.
Well, I don't think it fixes the problem, but for the sake of movers and shakers in the hobby, I think Claypool, look at who's been throwing him the ball this year. And I mean, he's just put up abysmal numbers because he's had no one to throw him the football, literally no one to throw him the football. I don't think they put a quarterback out there in Pittsburgh right now. I think Tomlin's just forgotten to, but no one was throwing him the ball. So to see him move somewhere where he's going to be able to get some opportunities, he's in a division, I think, that is capable of being winnable again with Rodgers, just stoned out of his mind, just saying, fuck it. It is what it is now. So, I really like the Claypool pick also because you still see it more and more all the time. I knew it was coming this year, and you're seeing it this year. There's more hobby love for wide receivers and running backs, and Claypool is low right now because no one's throwing him the ball. He's been out of sight, out of mind because he's been stuck in just the black hole that is Pittsburgh right now. Now you get him in Chicago. You could have an electrifying pair there with him and Fields. Look what Tyreek and Waddle did for Tua and everything like that. You get that pair. If they gel, it could be something huge. And I liked Claypool coming out of the gate, 6'4", 238. The dude's a beast. He can run. He's got all the potential in the world. He can play any position wide receiver wise that you need him to on the field. So I love his hobby value just because I think he's going to shine in Chicago. Maybe not this year, but I do think he's going to shine quite a bit, a lot more than he would have in Pittsburgh. And I think that coming with the fact that card values on wide receivers and running backs are going up tremendously. I love him. I love him as a mover and shaker.
I'm in a weird sense. Obviously, we don't see a lot of trades during the season in the NFL.
No,
we haven't. Now I'm in a weird situation with my fantasy team because I've had 3 of my players that have been traded in the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
Robbie Anderson was the first. Went to Arizona, and he's a bench guy for me. But I have Claypool and my tight end, TJ Hawkinson, got traded to Minnesota, which is an even weirder trade because you never see interdivision trades.
Interdivision trades in the middle of the year. I mean, any time of the year is odd.
But you also you got to look at the NFC Central is basically Minnesota right now and everybody else.
Everyone else, yeah.
And everybody else doesn't even include the Lions, who are so
right.
Dynamic. So yeah, they're in the same division, but those two, that would be the real odd one would be if Minnesota would have made a trade with, Green Bay or Chicago, or, Green Bay and Chicago sent some people back and forth in the middle of the season. But yeah, you never see those interdivision trades, and they have 3 players from your fantasy team traded in the same year is extremely rare. But the number of people that moved
Yeah, and the number of people that move that are gonna have significant impact in the hobby is big. I mean, we mentioned Claypool, we mentioned CMC. Dude, you got Zach Moss going to Indianapolis. You put Zach Moss with Sam Ellinger, look good. I mean, like that Indianapolis team is not too far away. There were some crazy trades. I mean, it's not going to register on the hobby side as much as it should, but the Chubb trade to the Dolphins.
Well, let's look at let's look on the other side of the ball. You know, Chubb to the Dolphins. You had Robert Quinn to Baltimore. You had Roquan Smith getting traded.
Yeah.
You know, even though the Bears, you know, the day before said, oh, no, we're not trading Roquan.
I think the reason they did it is because they got A.J. Klein and a second and a fifth. So if you're able to get A.J. Klein and 2 draft picks, I think that might change your mind a little bit.
No, and that hurts. But, you know, I mean, Roquan is a...
Oh, yeah, big time.
I'm trying to think what the best way to describe the guy is. You know, I think he's on that same level that Khalil Mack was on.
No, I agree. But I honestly think for the hobby, the biggest winner of the trade deadline for the hobby is a very probably unnoticed trade by many that happened that is not grabbing all the headlines, but it's Kadarius Toney going to Kansas City.
Yeah.
I loved Kadarius Toney. He has shown incredible talent with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. And now he gets Pat Mahomes, the Chiefs offense that is lacking in that dynamic threat that he is. I think he could honestly emerge as a top 10 receiver, top 15 receiver in the league in Kansas City.
I would agree with that. However, I would argue the fact that trade went unnoticed by the hobby.
Well, no, I wouldn't say unnoticed. I mean, like it wasn't grabbing all the headlines on ESPN and news.
Oh no, I agree. But I probably saw, as soon as that trade happened, I probably saw 100 different posts in various groups and social media and things like that about, hey man, I'm looking to buy Kadarius Toney and or guys that are really happy that they stocked up on him.
That tells you right there.
Yeah.
All you need to know.
Yeah. No, the hobby definitely took notice. The media
did not.
Yeah. It's one of those things like, we'll let it slide kind of thing. But he got traded at a time when nobody else was being traded. So
right.
I'm kind of shocked that didn't get the coverage that it should have. But
I think it has major hobby implications, and I definitely think that Toney shines right there. So I don't think it's too late to pick his stuff up. As I look at it right now, it's still relatively cheap, but it is going up. Him, Zach Moss, and CMC and Chase Claypool are probably the winners of the trade deadline from the hobby aspect, but you don't see this many big name trades, this many big name moves like in the NFL normally. And I think this is a big sign of the new general manager, the younger new breed of general managers, the guys that are 60, 65, they're out of those positions and they're giving them to these young up and coming wonderkins and stuff like that. And you're starting to see that they don't think like the old school.
No,
they're not afraid to toss stuff around. It's interesting.
Now, the one thing that I will, we had the warning earlier in the show about the Panini redemptions and things like that. I'm going to give the warning here. So with all of the guys that got traded, don't expect them to put up monster numbers in their first week or two.
No. Because
the NFL is the hardest league to move to a different team, especially in the middle of the season, because 100%. The plays are so complex. The playbook for each individual team is so complex that it takes time to learn it.
It takes time to learn the quarterback's cadence, the audibles.
Yes. I fully expect Chase Claypool to run the wrong route multiple times during the game. Yeah. I expect him to be out of position. I expect him to be a false start. There's all sorts of things. Same thing with Kadarius Toney.
I expect him to do. I expect Mahomes to think he's going deep when he does a curl on a little stop and go. Like that's going to happen. They haven't built a rapport together. It is going to take some time.
Yeah. So don't give up on guys just because Just because Kadarius Toney is now getting thrown to by Patrick Mahomes, only has one catch for 15 yards, don't say, hey, he's a bust. He sucks. I can't believe they made that trade. We got to, why did we do that? Well, no, give it some time.
Yes.
Especially within the hobby. Give it some time. They'll learn the playbook.
Can we blanket that statement for everything?
we could.
But yeah, some great trades. Definitely quite interesting.
All right. So, Drew, speaking of quite interesting.
Yes.
Let's do something we haven't done in a while.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the new release calendar.
There you go. Hey, there's always great stuff coming up at the end of the year.
There's always great stuff coming up at the end of the year, and I'm looking at some things that might be interesting coming up this week, and and we'll take a look at next week as well, just to see what's up and what's fun. But coming out today, and I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to do because a lot of it is unknown, and a lot of people don't really dig this product, especially long term. Chronicles Draft Basketball is coming out today, and maybe there's some Bonchero autos in there that could be okay, but I'm kind of iffy on the rest of the draft class.
Yeah, they've got to step it up. It's been him and nobody else right now. I do think a couple people will, but like we said last week, it's the guys from the last 2 years that are going to you're going to be paying attention to this year.
Yep. Origins Football,
nice,
is out today. MLS Chrome
is
also out today. I'm actually kind of excited about that. There's not a lot of big names in MLS, but there's a lot of guys that could be big names in the future. So it's one of those products where, you just hold on to it and pray to God that, a couple of these guys wind up going over to, the Premier League or La Liga or Series A or Bundesliga or something like that in the future. And then Friday, we got the biggest one I'm excited for is the 21-22. So last year's Panini 1-in-1 basketball.
Nice.
That's always a fun product. There's some big stuff that could potentially come out of that.
Oh, one of my favorite autograph sets of the year of any single product is in that set every year, and it's the Timeless Moments. It's where they take one of the biggest shots or biggest plays in the NBA of that year or whatever, and the photography they use is always unique. It's not on any other card. They get this amazing angle of this iconic shot and pair it with a beautiful autograph. It's one of my favorite sets. I love the 1-in-1s. Like if there's products like Panini 1 for football and 1-in-1 for basketball, like if you're going to do one card products, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, that is a prime example. Top to bottom, Panini 1 or 1-in-1 in this case is an absolutely phenomenal product.
And I think is it Downtowns or Kabooms that are in that product as well? Because I think
Downtown.
Yeah, so there's Downtowns in there as well.
Yeah.
Those are always fun. All right, so next week is it's a light week, but there's 2 products that are coming out that I really am excited for. The first one is kind of obvious. We've got Prism World Cup Soccer. That is going to be a massive product. Yeah. And I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing with Prism that they did with National Treasures, and that is put Norway in, even though they didn't make the World Cup, just to get Erling Haaland. And leave Canada out, which means no Alphonso Davies, even though Canada qualified for the World Cup.
And you know what? That I would not put it past them at all, but I'll also make a very, very bold prediction here. Prism World Cup Soccer, the day it comes out, that's when the World Cup fever, and not only just Prism, but that's when all of soccer starts to rise.
Well, Prism, so it's coming out on the 9th. And which is a week from Wednesday, and a couple of days later is when most of the countries are announcing their rosters.
Yep.
So the hype is going to build, but Prism is one of those things where National Treasures is such a short checklist. Prism, they may have included Canada in Prism.
Yeah,
they may have also included Norway because it's Prism, and they got to fill up a 300, 400 card set or however they want to make it this year. And obviously, we're looking at the same thing. We're looking at all the other Prism products. We're looking at looking for the color. The autos, maybe not. Depends on who they got in there.
Yeah.
But the other product that's coming out next Friday is one that I'm excited about every year. I love this product. I love the photography on this product. I love the way they design it. I love the fact that they put 6 rookies in every box that everybody's chasing, and that is 22-23 Upper Deck Hockey Series 1.
Yes.
Flagship product.
Yeah. Young guns, baby.
Yeah, you're looking for those young guns. You're looking for the exclusives. You're looking for the high gloss. You're not chasing autographs because they're one per case. But it's, you want those young guns. And I love, this is actually my favorite of all of the flagship products.
Mine too.
For any sport because of the unique photography.
Yeah.
It's very much on par with Stadium Club.
Oh, 1000%. You're getting either a lot of behind the scenes stuff. You're getting angles of them walking onto the ice. There's so many cool different ones. It's not just them with a stick taking a shot.
Exactly. Or really so think about it this way. Topps update this year, that Julio Jones short print with him getting the Gatorade dumped on him. It's an awesome image. I love that image. But if it were Upper Deck Series 1, that would be the base card.
Right.
They're taking these great images, these guys. Sometimes it's a locker room photo with a guy holding a puck with 500th goal or, whatever, written on it on tape wrapped around the edges. It could be a guy beating up a mascot. Just random stuff that is it's just really cool. It's one of the only products that I actually take the time to look through every card as I'm opening packs, because you never know what you're going to see, on those cards. I think Upper Deck does a great job with it.
And I also just love the fact, and this is kudos to Upper Deck and the hockey collector base and everything as a whole, that Young Guns, they have stood the test of time. This is not a 5 or 6 year fad. I was collecting Young Guns when I was a kid. Like this stuff, when I was a teenager, the Young Guns have been around forever. And I love it. I say it every year. I love a product where you're not just chasing autographs.
Yeah.
I love it. And Upper Deck is that. Their flagship product is that to a T. You were chasing those young guns, the cool different stuff, and then like you said, the set building, the photography. I'm interested to see. I haven't looked at the checklist. I'll dive into it and everything. We'll dive into it maybe deeper here on an upcoming show. But I'm interested to see if they make any additions this year, as they added a couple of different things last year. So
they swap out. There's a couple of inserts that remain in there every single year,
portraits
and canvas. Portraits is actually a relatively recent one.
Yeah, a couple years.
Canvas has been around for about over a decade now.
Yeah,
and I think that, but they do refresh the inserts every couple of years.
Yeah,
so they may pop in something that's new and different.
As long as they keep the Dazzlers, because those things are just so beautiful.
But that's only been around for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's brand new. Yeah,
that's not even a long-term insert.
Yeah.
What I wish they would do with the canvas, though, and it's kind of too late now, but make canvas a continuation set. So you get cards 1 through 100 in the first year they did it. The next year when they do it, you get cards 101 to 200, and kind of make it like a living type set,
right?
But have it as a continuation year after year.
No, I like that. That's a really cool idea. Panini kind of did that with that Super Bowl Legends set that they did for a while, that they would throw in random products, but then that just disappeared and has never been seen for a couple of years. But no, I think that would actually be really cool. But I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing with that.
Yeah, because especially with the set builders, that would keep guys coming back and buying product year after year year just to try to complete that.
Oh, 100%.
Keep it current.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the hockey community would love that. I think that's something that would drive the flagship even more.
Well, we know guys from Upper Deck listen to the show, so just make sure if you decide to do something like that, just make sure you give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, you just throw us on a card. Throw us on card 1. We're good. No.
I'll take a card.
Yeah,
I'll even sign it for free.
Yeah, exactly. I'll even sign a couple for free.
Yeah.
But on that note, my man, I think it's a good time as ever to wrap up the show. What do you think?
I think so. It's been a good week. I'm looking forward to exciting things coming up. Speaking of exciting things, Drew, what do we got going on next Wednesday night?
Well, we've got something awesome coming up, guys. I don't know if you don't follow us on socials. I know a lot of you guys don't deal with the social stuff.
You should. You should get Instagram, get Facebook if you don't have it, and follow it. Just to follow us. You don't have to follow anybody else.
Yeah.
But just to see what's going on, follow us.
Absolutely. Follow us on all the social medias. We're very easy to find. Type in LEMME and it'll fill out the rest. We're the only one that starts our name like that. It's easy to find. But as it was announced on social media, we will be partnering up with the monthly card show, a new virtual card show coming on November 16th. Wednesday, November 16th. And the way it works is basically you're going to be able to buy, sell, trade, whatever with hundreds and hundreds of dealers. There's a lot of big names involved in this. I know Gio and Sports Card Nonsense. Shout out to him. Love you, Gio. You're still short though. And then, Card Shop Live, a lot of amazing, great companies, great people. Tim from Slab Strong, a lot of people are setting up and a lot of dealers are setting up. And you basically can see what they have for sale. There's trades that are able to be done and you can actually sell them your stuff. And all of it's being taken care of by TradeSafe. So everything is being sent to TradeSafe, which is an intermediary for trades and everything. So everything's 100% legit. You're going to get your stuff, but it gives you an option to be able to interact with us and sell me or Scott something or buy some stuff that we may have. Or as we're going to be doing, tons and tons of giveaways, some really cool stuff. We're going to make our show a party. It is going to be an absolute party. We're going to have a ton of fun. You do not want to miss it, but that's the monthly card show. You can find all the information out online. All you have to do is go to monthly card show and register, and that's it. There's no fee to get in or anything like that, but it's a really cool idea, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Along those same lines, it's a couple weeks after that, but
yes,
I am going to be at actually, you know what? I'm sorry. The Card Show Live is actually in 2 weeks from today, not next week. So that's on the 16th. That's my fault. But shortly after that, the 18th, 19th, and 20th, I am going to be at the Chicago Sports Spectacular.
Yes.
Booth number 181. Stop by and say hi. If you want to take a picture with me for some unknown reason,
hopefully I'll be there and you can take a picture with both of us. Wow.
Yeah. You want me to sign anything for you? I like I said, I don't know why you'd want that, but I'll do it. Have a ton of stuff out. Going to be right next to my friends from Chicagoland Sports Cards. So
great people.
An insane amount of wax going to be available literally right next to my table. And I'm finally back in my normal spot for the first time. So I've been there for 10 or 11 years. The last two shows, they for some reason moved me to another part of the room. So I'm back where I should be, and looking forward to seeing everybody there that weekend.
Awesome. So yeah, if you guys are up in the Chicago area, definitely check out the Chicago Card Show. I'm hoping to make it up there as well and do some content and hang out and annoy Scott. So I may be up there as well. But if you can't make it up to that, definitely attend the virtual card show, the monthly card show. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and it's a really cool idea and something that I think in the next, obviously it's going to be monthly, but I think within 6 months, this is going to be a destination type event for the hobby. There's a good team running it. They've got stuff together. TradeSafe is a great organization, and I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun and a great chance for you to network, meet some new people and all that as well. So definitely check that out. And as always, we have a new episode of Let Her Rip coming up this week. Actually, it'll probably be out when this episode is out. You'll be able to check it out. We are going to be doing a giveaway on the show, but it's not going to be live. So make sure to check the show out and you can enter in for that giveaway as well. And then, of course, Hobby Hotline every Saturday on Bench Clear Media at 11 a.m. and then every Tuesday at 9 p.m. over on the Hobby Hotline pages. So make sure to check all of those out. And then, of course, once again, the monthly card show on the 16th. And then Scott with Chicago here in a couple weeks after that. And of course, I'd like to thank our awesome sponsors, Show Your Slabs, Slab Strong, Denver Card Shows, Vanity Slabs, Card Ladder. Could not do the show without you guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. Like I said, the big party for the monthly card show. A lot of awesome stuff coming up. So till then, you guys know the deal. Keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace.